The Wizard of Oz. A girl from Kansas, a yellow brick road, and a mysterious wizard behind a curtain. On the surface, The Wizard of Oz is a whimsical fantasy, but some scholars argue it's a coded political allegory, woven with symbols from the late 19th century's battle over the gold standard, a debate that had largely faded by the time the film debuted in 1939. One of the most cited theories suggests that Dorothy represents the everyday American, swept up in forces beyond her control. The yellow brick road? A stand-in for the gold standard, which dictated the US economy decades earlier. But here's where it gets interesting. In L. Frank Baum's original book, Dorothy's shoes weren't ruby, they were silver. And in the 1890s, the free silver movement pushed for the US to back its currency with silver instead of just gold, a stance championed by the Populist Party. Then there's the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion. The Scarecrow is often interpreted as the struggling farmer, a key base of the populist movement. The Tin Man is the dehumanized industrial worker, less universally accepted, but some scholars suggest he represents the factory laborers left rusted and powerless by economic hardship. The Cowardly Lion, meanwhile, is sometimes linked to William Jennings Bryan, the fiery populist leader known for his booming speeches, but criticized for lacking real political bite. And the Wizard? A stand-in for politicians who appear all-powerful, but when the curtain is pulled back, are just ordinary men with no real magic. But here's the catch. Baum never confirmed any of this. While the connections are intriguing, some historians argue they're a stretch, pointing out that L. Frank Baum never publicly supported populism. Others suggest the film resonated with Great Depression audiences not because of hidden political messaging, but because of its themes of self-reliance and personal empowerment. Whether intentional or not, The Wizard of Oz remains one of Hollywood's most enduring allegories, one that, like the Emerald City itself, might be more illusion than reality. Casablanca. A smoky bar in Vichy-controlled Casablanca, Morocco. A German officer smugly orders the band to play Die Wacht am Rhein, a patriotic anthem with deep German roots. The room stiffens. Then, Victor Laszlo, a Czech resistance leader, strides forward. "Play La Marseillaise," he commands. The musicians hesitate, until Rick Blaine, the man who claims he sticks his neck out for nobody, gives a nod, and just like that the bar erupts in defiant song, drowning out the Nazi officers. But for many actors in that scene, this wasn't just acting, it was heartbreakingly real. Casablanca wasn't just a love story, it was a wartime statement wrapped in romance. Released in 1942 as World War II raged on, the film reflected America's shifting stance on neutrality. While not officially government propaganda, its themes aligned with the push for unity against tyranny. Screenwriter Julius Epstein later admitted, "We were writing about the world as it was changing around us." Rick Blaine's arc mirrored America's own journey, from staying out of the conflict to stepping up when it mattered most. At first, he's just a cynical nightclub owner, refusing to take sides. "I stick my neck out for nobody," he says. But by the film's end, he's smuggling resistance leaders to safety and taking a stand. A coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe Hollywood was nudging audiences toward the inevitable. Then there's Captain Renault, the corrupt Vichy official who collaborates with the Nazis, until he doesn't. His sudden shift at the end wasn't just character development. Renault embodied France's real-life appeasement policies which had failed to stop Hitler's rise. His eventual decision to side with Rick was Hollywood's way of saying, it's never too late to do the right thing. But perhaps the most powerful message wasn't in the script, it was in the casting. Many of the actors playing refugees in Rick's Cafe were real-life European exiles, people who had fled Nazi persecution. When they sang La Marseillaise on set, many broke down in tears. Actress Madeleine Lebeau, who played Yvonne, was a Jewish refugee from France. Her on-screen sobs were real. For us, it wasn't just a scene, actor Marcel Dalio, another refugee, later recalled. It was a moment of truth. Casablanca's anti-Nazi stance was bold, but it had to be woven in carefully. Hollywood was walking a fine line, too much overt messaging, and audiences might push back. So instead, the film disguised its call to arms beneath the smoke and shadows of Rick's Cafe. And that's why, decades later, Casablanca isn't just a classic, it's a masterclass in subtle resistance. Rebel Without a Cause. A film about teenage angst, switchblades, and rebellion, Rebel Without a Cause, 1955, had all the makings of a classic. But beneath the surface, something deeper simmered. A story of unspoken longing carefully woven into the film's fabric to sidestep the Hays Code's strict censorship. Take Plato, played by Sal Mineo. His devotion to Jim Stark isn't just admiration, it's coded desire. Scholars point to moments like Plato showing Jim a photo of Alan Ladd, calling him a father figure, as a subtle nod to queer identity. Mineo later confirmed in interviews that he played Plato as gay, though the film could never say it outright. Director Nicholas Ray encouraged Mineo to lean into this subtext, though claims that he instructed James Dean to reciprocate with subtle tenderness remain unverified. Then there's the abandoned mansion scene, a fleeting illusion of domestic bliss. Jim, Judy, and Plato play house, slipping into roles of father, mother, and child, but like many queer-coded characters of the era, Plato's happiness is short-lived. His tragic fate mirrors the era's tendency to punish characters who didn't fit societal norms, though the film ultimately frames his downfall as part of its broader themes of isolation and misunderstood youth. Even today, Rebel Without a Cause stands as a landmark of hidden messages in Hollywood, saying more in silence than it ever could in words. Metropolis. A silent film nearly a century old, yet disturbingly relevant. Metropolis, 1927, wasn't just a sci-fi marvel. It was a warning wrapped in spectacle. A city of gleaming skyscrapers, its elite basked in luxury, while an unseen workforce toiled in subterranean depths. Fritz Lang's vision wasn't just an artistic statement, it was a dire prophecy about unchecked industrialization and class oppression. But here's where things take a strange turn. Some of history's most infamous figures saw something else entirely. Lang, inspired by his visit to New York in 1924, envisioned a world where the privileged ruled from above, while laborers remained buried, literally, beneath their feet. The underground workers, faceless in uniform, weren't just background characters. They were a stark metaphor for the exploited masses crushed by rapid technological advancement. And at the heart of it all, Maria, a saintly figure preaching unity, until she's replaced by something far more sinister. The robot Maria, one of cinema's first artificial beings, a mechanical marvel that was more than just an effect, it was a symbol. Designed to manipulate the working class, she blurred the line between reality and illusion. Some film scholars argue that this wasn't just a critique of industrialization, but an eerie foreshadowing of propaganda, misinformation, and even the way technology can be used to control public perception. Was Lang warning us about the dangers of artificial influence? That's up for debate. But history took an even darker twist. When the Nazi regime rose to power, they didn't see Metropolis as a cautionary tale. They saw inspiration. Rumors suggest that Joseph Goebbels admired its vision of a strong leader uniting the classes, though no direct records confirm this. What is clear is that Lang, horrified by the Nazi regime, fled Germany in 1933, leaving behind his past, and a film that would be misinterpreted for decades. Even today, Metropolis refuses to fade. The 2010 restoration unearthed lost footage, revealing even deeper layers to its critique of power and technology, and its themes, still hauntingly familiar. The divide between the wealthy and the working class, the fear of technology replacing human labor, it's all still here, playing out in real time. Lang's dystopian vision wasn't just a nightmare of the future, it was a mirror held up to society then and now. Sunset Boulevard. The opening shot of Sunset Boulevard isn't just a noir setup, it's a cinematic obituary for Hollywood's forgotten stars. A lifeless body floats in a swimming pool, narrating its own demise. But this isn't just Joe Gillis's story, it's the story of Norma Desmond, and every silent film legend the industry discarded. Norma isn't just a faded actress, she's a ghost of Hollywood's past, clinging to a world that moved on without her. Her mansion, once grand, is now a crumbling relic, much like the careers of real silent film stars who were cast aside when talkies took over. And the film doesn't just hint at this tragedy, it embeds it in plain sight. Those waxworks playing bridge with Norma, they're actual silent-era icons. Buster Keaton, H.B. Warner, and Anna Q. Nilsson. Their presence isn't just a nostalgic cameo, it's a chilling reminder that Hollywood doesn't just forget its legends, it buries them in obscurity. And then there's that line. I am big, it's the pictures that got small. It's not just Norma's delusion, it's the bitter truth for stars like her. Gloria Swanson, who played Norma, knew this firsthand. She had once been a silent film queen, commanding the screen just as Norma had. By the time Sunset Boulevard was made in 1950, Swanson, like many of her peers, was considered a relic in Hollywood's eyes. That casting wasn't just inspired, it was symbolic. Director Billy Wilder didn't just craft a noir thriller, He built a ruthless critique of Hollywood's obsession with youth. The industry chewed up stars, spit them out, and left them to rot in forgotten mansions. And the film's setting drives this home. Norma's decaying estate wasn't just a soundstage. It was filmed at the Greystone Mansion, a real Hollywood landmark, its fading grandeur mirroring Norma's own decline. Even the film's climax, Norma, lost in delusion, descending her staircase like a queen returning to her kingdom, was a haunting metaphor. She was royalty once. Now she's nothing but a tragic spectacle. And here's the real sting. Sunset Boulevard wasn't just a film, it was a warning. Wilder's critique of Hollywood's obsession with reinvention at the cost of its past still resonates today, proving that some ghosts never fade. The Night of the Hunter. A preacher with a knife and a twisted gospel, Reverend Harry Powell isn't just a villain. He's a walking sermon on religious hypocrisy. In The Night of the Hunter, 1955, Powell, played with eerie charm by Robert Mitchum, presents himself as a man of faith, but behind his hymns and scripture lies something far darker. He's a con artist, a predator who uses religion as a weapon, and nothing captures his warped ideology more than the tattoos on his hands. Love on one, hate on the other. That imagery wasn't random. It originated in Davis Grubb's novel, which the film closely followed. Powell's chilling demonstration, interlocking his fingers to stage a mock battle between love and hate, was a visual metaphor for the film's deeper theme. The struggle between good and evil, not just in the world, but within people themselves. Director Charles Laughton amplified this theme visually, drawing inspiration from German Expressionism. Stark shadows, exaggerated angles, and looming silhouettes turn the film into something almost biblical. Powell's figure stretches impossibly tall as he rides through the countryside, his presence more like a specter than a man. The children he hunts seem swallowed by an eerie, dreamlike world, trapped between towering crosses and suffocating darkness. Laughton himself described the film as a dark fairy tale, a fable warning of wolves in shepherd's clothing. Yet when The Night of the Hunter premiered, audiences didn't know what to make of it. It struggled at the box office, and many critics dismissed its unconventional style. Laughton, disheartened, never directed another film, but over time its reputation transformed. Scholars now view it as a haunting critique of religious extremism, a warning about those who twist faith for power. Some even speculate that the film's nightmarish tone was Laughton's own way of processing his personal conflicts with organized religion, though that remains unverified. Either way, its eerie beauty and unsettling message still resonate today. Gilda. A smoky nightclub, a strapless black gown, and a single glove slipping off a perfectly poised hand. Gilda, 1946, didn't need explicit scandal to shake audiences. Under the Hays Code, overt sensuality was forbidden, but the film danced around the rules with suggestion. Rita Hayworth's slow, deliberate striptease to put the blame on Mame wasn't about undressing, it was about control. Film historian Foster Hirsch once observed that the scene was both a metaphor for female empowerment and a trap. Gilda owns the room, but by the film's logic she must pay for it. Then there's the subtext. On the surface it's a love triangle. Gilda, her ex-lover Johnny, Glenn Ford, and her new husband Balin, George McCready. But some scholars argue that Balin's possessiveness over Johnny and their loaded exchanges hint at coded queer themes. In 1940s Hollywood, direct depictions of same-sex attraction were taboo, so filmmakers relied on glances, double meanings, and power dynamics to suggest what couldn't be said outright. But Gilda's most radical message? Its takedown of double standards. Gilda is condemned for being too sexual, too independent, yet Johnny's cruelty toward her is framed as justified. Is it, though? Modern feminist critics argue that Gilda exposes the hypocrisy of a society that desires women like her but refuses to let them be free. And the ending? It's deliberately ambiguous. Does Gilda find redemption, or is she simply being tamed? The film never gives a clear answer, and that might be the most subversive trick of all. The Manchurian Candidate. A film so unnervingly in sync with Cold War paranoia that it vanished from circulation after a presidential assassination. The Manchurian Candidate, 1962, didn't just reflect America's fears, it seemed to predict them. At its core is a chilling concept. A soldier, brainwashed into becoming an unwitting assassin, controlled by unseen forces. That idea wasn't pure fiction. The Korean War had already sparked real concerns about psychological warfare, with reports of captured soldiers subjected to coercive techniques. The film's infamous brainwashing scenes tap directly into that anxiety, portraying a world where memories could be rewritten and loyalties manipulated. But here's where it gets even eerier. Though the Manchurian Candidate never explicitly references MKUltra, the CIA's secret mind control program, it aligns suspiciously well with what we now know about those experiments. MKUltra, launched in the 1950s, explored hypnosis, drug-induced manipulation, and psychological conditioning, all in the name of Cold War espionage. Of course, the program was classified at the time, meaning the filmmakers couldn't have known about it. Still, the film's unsettling accuracy in depicting mind control only fuels speculation about just how close fiction came to reality. Then there's Eleanor Iceland, played with icy precision by Angela Lansbury. She isn't just a villain, she's a symbol, a puppet master lurking in the shadows, orchestrating power plays without ever getting her hands dirty. Her influence is insidious, her control absolute, making her one of the most unsettling figures in cinema. Some even interpret her as a coded warning about hidden political forces, those who pull the strings while the public remains blissfully unaware. And let's not forget the film's eerie brush with history. After John F. Kennedy's assassination in 1963, Frank Sinatra, who both starred in and co-produced the film, reportedly had it pulled from circulation. The official reason? Out of respect. But rumors swirl that it hit too close to home, that its themes of political manipulation and assassination were suddenly too real. Whatever the truth, its disappearance only deepened its mystique, cementing The Manchurian Candidate as a film that didn't just mirror Cold War fears, it became part of them. Vertigo. A hypnotic descent into obsession, control, and illusion, Hitchcock's Vertigo isn't just a thriller, it's a coded study of power. Released in 1958, the film follows Scotty Ferguson, a man consumed by a woman who may not even exist. But beneath its dreamlike visuals lurks something deeper, a chilling meditation on dominance and identity erasure. Scotty's relentless transformation of Judy into his lost love, Madeleine, isn't just a plot device. It's a stark metaphor for control. He dictates her hair color, her clothes, even the way she moves, reshaping her into a fantasy. Film scholar Laura Mulvey later dissected this dynamic in her seminal essay on the male gaze, arguing that Vertigo exposes how women in cinema are often molded to fit male desire. Hitchcock himself was notorious for his meticulous direction, reportedly insisting on exact details of Kim Novak's appearance, down to the styling of her hair, though some question how much control she actually had. Visually, the film mirrors Scotty's unraveling. The now iconic dolly zoom effect, where the background stretches while the foreground remains fixed, was invented specifically for Vertigo to convey his acrophobia. But the spiral motif runs deeper. From the hypnotic opening credits to Madeleine's coiled hairstyle, these swirling patterns symbolize Scotty's descent into obsession, a vortex of control he can't escape. Despite its now legendary status, Vertigo stumbled at the box office. Critics in 1958 found it slow, even cold, but time has been kind. In 2012, Sight and Sound's critics poll named it the greatest film of all time, dethroning Citizen Kane. Its eerie atmosphere, unsettling ambiguity, and unflinching look at manipulation have only grown more relevant. And that final moment, Scotty standing at the edge, staring into the void of his own making, still haunts audiences today. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment. Also consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to get notified of our new videos each week. Thanks for watching.